and a happy sunny Wednesday evening to you all. Welcome to Berlin Raceway, the season finale of Trackside Live for the 2025 season. Tyler Kuehl here on the inside, Nate Dreyer down low, and of course, our general manager and one of the former voices of Motor Racing Network, Jeff Striegle here, getting ready for Chet Championship Night. An exciting night, and we took it outside because we got to look at the future, and the future's so bright that even I have to wear shades. Nate, let's first start with you here. But actually, before we get too far into it, Facebook Live, if you are watching this, if you have a question for Jeff or our guest later on tonight, Josh Frye, going for double championships, throw them in the comments. We'd love to ask the guys some fun racing questions. Nate, it's a bittersweet moment because it's obviously the end of the season and the last hurrah for us here on this Trackside Live show, but it's kind of sad. It means that it's going to be over this coming week.
I know it's amazing how fast it goes. We say that every year, every time, but it is amazing how quickly it feels like it was those 2 test Saturdays before the icebreaker like last week, and we just blitzed through this season. But what a way to finish it! We've got every one of our local running series plus the Reveal the Hammer Outlaws here this weekend. I can't think of a better way to close what's been an incredible season here at Berlin.
Jeff, you obviously, people know you, they hear your voice on the public address every single week, but also the work that goes into a season here at Berlin. I think that's what I really want to have you on to talk about here. To kind of tell the folks as we're getting ready for this night, it's a celebration of all sorts for the champions, for the drivers, but also for the staff here that works tirelessly every single day of the week trying to put on a good show for the fans, but also bring a great product to the track as well.
You know, it's interesting that you bring that up because you're right. You look at the people behind the scenes that don't get a chance to see the checkered flags in the air, that they don't get a chance to hear a Victory Lane interview. And immediately what comes to mind is concessions, in the bar that's behind us. Nella has been in that South concession for years.
Yep.
And continues to do a tremendous job with her team down there. Carly in the North concession does a tremendous job with her team. Kathy Bursley handles all of the bar and the decks and the suites. And those are people that if you ask them at the end of the night, did you see that race? Could you believe that so-and-so won? Or did you see that? Or did you see this? And they're like, no, we didn't see it. We hear it. We hear the fans, but we don't get a chance to see it. Our security team, obviously all of the contractors, our tech officials downstairs, now obviously they get a chance to see the races. But, a little known fact is that there are 80 to 100 people that are here on a Saturday night, Nate, that, they're here early in the morning. Some of them are the last ones to leave. And you can't do what we do without having a great team. And I will say it over and over and over again. The ticket office, those guys never see a race. They hear it. And sometimes somebody will say, wow, what was that deal with Tim DeVos and Kevin Ford in that race? We could hear it, but we don't know what happened. There's just so many people behind the scenes that make Berlin Raceway what it is today.
Yeah, and you mentioned that this is something we ask drivers in Victory Lane. We ask them when they come on this show as well. But everyone knows your background from the Motor Racing Network and been around here for years as well. What about this racetrack, the people here? What is it that makes it so special to you? Why is it that you did choose to come back here a few years ago, take on this general manager role, and now, we've seen what this place has become?
I don't know if I can answer that question, Nate, because there's so many pieces that you could touch. The first thing that I looked at was fans and drivers. Staff was third at the moment, right? So I'm not going to belittle that. We needed to figure out a way to put more people in the grandstands, and we worked very hard. I was thinking when we gave away so much stuff this past weekend, do you realize that we were probably close to $100,000 worth of stuff that we gave away this year?
Yeah.
Nobody is sitting in the grandstands and totaling that up. But when you look at the golf cart and you look at the quad from Impact Power Sports and the golf cart this weekend and all of the tickets and all of the things that we gave away, there's not a track in the country that does that. So fans was first and foremost. And then it was a matter of going, okay, let's try to touch the drivers. Let's make sure, I'll say it on the air, and Chip, who's standing behind the camera, will tell you, it means something to win at Berlin Raceway. The drivers will tell you. They tell you all the time.
Yep.
I go back to when Mike Ordway Jr. won the super modified race. I guess now it would have been 4 years ago, and he got out of his super modified, and there were tears. I think you were down there with me, coming out of his eyes. I said, "Why the emotion?" And he said, "Quote, it means something to win at Berlin Raceway," and it clicked right there for me. And I knew as a car owner, it meant something to win here. And when you saw Evan Shotko get out of his car after winning Battle at Berlin 250, the Tecton Tools 250, he was crying. And I did the same thing. What is the emotion? Why the emotion? And he said, it's Berlin. I just won at Berlin Raceway. Obviously, the thing that we try to do is make sure that every driver recognizes that we appreciate them being here. It doesn't matter if it's somebody that is here every week, one of our locals, or if it's a Derek Griffith that's coming from Hudson, New Hampshire. Yep. It means something to be here, and that's never going to get lost on me. And when we see fans in the stands braving a cold day like we've had, why, I don't know, or the hot weather, that's just something that's important to me, and I wanted to be able to maybe put my fingerprint on that and help out.
I mean, because like I said, we've talked about your broadcast career, and obviously you raced here before as well, so you kind of have that background. But just kind of, because I started here in 2018, you were still with Racing Awareness and doing the MRN, and I was like, and we, it was up and down, right? We had the big nights, and we had some slow nights. But it seems like when you came back around and said, like, I'm going to be the GM of this track, and it just felt like there was just this uplift of, it felt like it was more important. It felt like us as broadcasters and the staff, like we had to put on a good show because we knew the level that you kind of expected and the level that, like you said, the drivers, the fans deserve.
Well, I mean, obviously, and you guys know as well, and again, we're giving you a peek behind the curtain, but, we all talk every weekend before you guys go on the air.
Yeah, Jeff's our coach. You talk Joe Gibbs Racing. No, we have Jeff Striegle Broadcast Racing. That's how it is up in the
and thank you. I don't know if I'd go quite to that extent, but, you guys have heard me say tonight is a night I expect this, but I expect that from our South Concession. I expect that from our tech officials downstairs. I expect that from our lounge and our staff. I expect to be the best, and and you guys and everybody else delivers, and I appreciate that. When people say you guys have the best track in the country, it could be an out-of-towner, right? They say that. It's like, we don't have the best racetrack. We don't have the best pit road. We don't have the best concession stand. We don't have the best this or that. But when you put it all together and the people that we have, they make it the best. And could we improve this or that or this or that? Yeah, absolutely. But when you look at our drivers, our fans, our staff, and what they do week in and week out, yeah, I'll say it all day long. We are the best track in the country, but it comes from those people.
Speaking of the best, the way that we're ending this season is a really, really good one on Saturday with Chet Championship Night. Again, we'll have the championship race for all four of our main local divisions, plus the Reveal the Hammer Outlaws are in town, some fun promotions as well. I mean, tell us how excited you are for this weekend and the just incredible racing lineup. I'm sure I think we'll have capacity stands hopefully as well. I mean, it's going to be an incredible weekend.
Well, you said it early on. I mean, it's going to be bittersweet, right? As excited as I am for this coming weekend, I'm sad about it as well because, when that final checkered flag goes in the air, we're done until April, and I hate that part. But we will indeed. You look at the championship, and I love how it shakes out. And I know you're going to talk to Josh Frye coming up here in a minute, but Tyler Rohrig is so good. Well, Tyler Rohrig is going to be here with his Outlaw. Basically, he takes the green flag, and Tyler Rohrig is the Reveal the Hammer Outlaw Series champion. What about Austin Hull and his season? And I know you guys will touch on that later. 5 wins, winning Battle at Berlin, the Tecton 250. What an incredible season he has. Basically, start the race, and he's our champion. And I love the fact that he's going to be our champion because he's going to, like Brian Campbell has done most recently, he will represent this track the way you want to have it represented. And Austin Hall is going to be an incredible Tecton super late model track champion. Josh Frye is going to try to do something that's never been done here before, and he's in good shape to do it. He leads over Ryan Holtzlander. Ryan gave him a big run throughout the season, but that point separation has grown now. So obviously comes in as the favorite to win there. Nick DeLompre is going to do everything in his power to keep Josh from winning both championships in the limited late models. And then Justin Roloffs. I mean, what an incredible season he's had. So we're going to crown them all. And hopefully, like you said, we'll have a full grandstands to help us celebrate the 75th anniversary season and wrap it all up here on Saturday night.
Dave Ryan says, "Hey from Canada, Mr. Striegle." We have. I will say this, and that was prevalent this past weekend with Trayton Lepsovich, Jeff. A lot of Canadian fans. Did you, when you were at MRN, it's kind of a side question, did you feel like there was a good following for the sport north of the border?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, all you have to do is go to Michigan International Speedway,
Yep.
Go to Watkins Glen, go to New Hampshire, Loudon up there.
Yep.
The Canadian race fans, I will tell you that some of my best time with the Motor Racing Network was when we went to Montreal. And I wish that the Cup Series would go back to Montreal. They need to go there. They race at Canadian Tire up there. When you show up and I know I'm getting a little away from your question, but when you show up north of the border with race cars, those fans will show up and support the event. We see them here. You see them here. There may be 20, 50. I guess it depends on the night and what's racing. We bring the super modifieds in. We got Canadian fans all over the place.
Quebec, yeah, Maritimes. Yep.
So they're just they're just good race fans, and I love to see them here for sure.
A note for Saturday as well. We were talking about three, and I know you've been promoting this. 3 14-year-olds are going to be racing between the super late model, the outlaw late models. We've seen Tyler Lupton all year long. How incredible has he been? But then Bryce Bozell, who's the Reveal the Hammer Rookie of the Year, and Chloe Mazzagatti, who's come on the last couple of races. I mean, the kind of two premier big engine, big power, fastest kind of late models we have around here. 3 14-year-olds. I mean, we could be seeing the beginning of something really special, probably 3 really special careers on Saturday.
Not could be, will be.
Yes.
There's no doubt about it, Nate. When I look at, I don't know Chloe at all. I know Bryce fairly well, and obviously I know Tyler Lupton very well. And people will ask me, is Tyler the real deal? Yes, he's the real deal. He is going to race at the next level. There is no doubt about it in my mind. I think Bryce is going to do the same thing. I'll tell you a funny story. I put my own Facebook post last night. I did a thing that showed Chloe and Tyler being at the racetrack, both being 14, and I got a note from Phil Bozell, and he goes, you forgot one, don't you? And I went, oh, my gosh, of course I did. Bryce is going to be here. So I immediately went back to Facebook and adjusted it and got some pictures of Bryce. He's a wheelman, and you guys know Bryce. I mean, he's this big. He's this big around, and he's this tall. And he gets in that driver's seat, and he puts his helmet on, and it's like, this kid's the real deal. There's no doubt. So we're going to see, like you said, in my opinion, tomorrow's stars on display here on Saturday night in 2 different divisions.
That's going to be really exciting to see. Let's see, Jimmy Waltansky says, see you on Saturday. Speaking of the fans that are chiming in here, Jeff, to those that might not be able to make it here, we hope everyone can, because obviously you're going to tell the folks when you're on public address on Saturday night how much we appreciate them. What is your message to the fans after this season? Like you said, 75 years, so many great moments that I think a lot of us are going to remember for the rest of our lives. What would you tell the fans after this incredible year?
Well, I'm going to tell you this, and it's not BS. It's from the heart. I say it every single Saturday night. Race fans, you are the best. And here's why. We can go to any track in the country. Pick one. I don't care which one you pick. I'll put these fans up against their fans any day of the week. And I will boast and I will brag about our fans. They turn out, they show up, they interact, they're loud. They have their favorites and they have their non-favorites, which I like. You're not going to like everybody. That's okay. I'm okay with that. And it's just simple. Tyler, they're good people. They're passionate about their sport. They support this racetrack with their hard-earned money. And, I've always said, and this gets a little bit off topic, you look down in the pits, and let's say you're expecting 30 cars, but only 20 of them show up. and you're going, man, oh man, I thought, Nate was going to be here, and I thought Tyler was going to be here. You must be disappointed. No, I'm not. I'm going to embrace the people that are here and not worry about those that are not. I support the drivers that are here, and I appreciate every one of them, and I support the race fans that are here, every one of them. If somebody elects to go somewhere else, that's great. I understand that, but I will always embrace the drivers and the fans that show up here.
One last question from me at least. Looking ahead to next year, we're talking about the fans and some of the things they can look ahead to. Can you maybe look behind the curtain a little bit? Some of the things that maybe we can hopefully already be looking forward to by the time we get around to next year. Well,
I can tell you this, that Money in the Bank will be on June 10. I can tell you that Battle at Berlin will be on August 12th, so you can write those dates down. I think
they got something going on those nights, so I don't.
Yeah. ARCA is coming back. I think it's fair to say, and this actually happened just today, I think they will more than likely, ARCA will be here on Father's Day weekend. I just think that's going to be a really cool event.
Yeah.
A peek behind the curtain. If you like, the super modifieds will be back. Wing sprints, non-wing sprints, they're all coming back. We are working on a really big show, and you can just stay tuned with that. More than likely, that really big show will be released by the end of this month. And I can tell you that it's not something that we've done here with this organization, etc. So I'm just going to leave it at that. But that race will actually be early in June, and it will be something people are going to want to be a part of.
Wow, they have whatever this is, Money in the Bank and ARCA in the same month.
And schedule, I'll tell you, we're working on the schedule right now. The cool thing about being affiliated with Berlin Raceway, I don't need to call, the super modified. I'll just use that as an example. They're calling us. What is our date? Can we race there? There are probably no fewer than 4 outside organizations that have not been to the Berlin Raceway yet that are calling and asking if it's possible for them to run. And that's hard to do. That is a tough balance because obviously we are going to look at the super lates, limited late sportsman, 4-cylinder, mini wedges, and get them booked first. And go, okay, here's what we want to do with them. It's a puzzle. It really is just puzzle pieces. You move them around. We can't run. People want to see super lates every Saturday night. Brian Campbell isn't going to run his super late every Saturday night. He can't. Yeah. Austin Hall can't, and people need to realize that. It's just too expensive to run them, and they can't support it. So we try to run them basically every other weekend. And then it's a matter of going, okay, we got an open weekend. Do we run non-wing sprints? Do we bring in this division? Where do the super modifieds fall? So you just start moving puzzle pieces around until it all fits. And then we go, there it is. There's our 26 schedule. And how soon will that be out? Hard to say. I mean, Mike Bursley and I work on it hard. I'd like to think that we would be ready to go by mid-October.
That's nice.
But we're working on it right now. Like I said, we've already got Money in the Bank booked, Battle at Berlin's booked, ARCA's booked, working with the 500 Sprint Tour, working with Jim Hanks and his team with the must-see racing. I want to bring the dwarf cars back as often as they – I'll tell you right now.
Every week we'd love
that. They know that. He knows that we would like to have them here. But, again, a series like that would say, yeah, I want to be at Berlin. I'd love to be there every single weekend. But we do have teams from the other side of the state, and they want to race at, Whittemore, or they want to race at Owasso at least once. But the dwarf cars, if you hand it out, the most improved, I can't think of an award right now, but you know where I'm headed.
Fascinating to watch or something.
Just they come here, they put on a whale of a show, and – they go home, and there's something to be said about that. So we'll look at them. The midgets will be back. We're gonna work hard to make sure that 2026 is as good or better than anything we've done in the past.
Well, as obviously we're ending a great season this year, 75 years of Berlin Raceway. Jeff Striegle, our general manager, and like I said, our awesome broadcast coach here, wrapping things up here.
My voice has still got to get back, man. 2 days up there, Friday and Saturday. Without Chip.
I was about to say, because you're a PA, you're obviously having to yell a lot more, trying to get over.
I try not to yell, but
well, you get excited. You have to get excited. You don't have to. You're not calling a race from a booth that's climate controlled with Brussie next to you.
Correct.
You're having to actually get everyone over and turn 4 to hear you and stuff. But
I want to say one more thing. Thank you to the race car drivers. Thank you to our fans. Thank you to our staff. A note to the fans, and I know you've got it down, Nate, but we are going to open at 3 o'clock. We're going to have Outlaws on the track, Supers, Limited, Sportsman, 4 cylinders. It's $17 online. It's $17 online. Buy the ticket. Come out. Enjoy. Not only the races, but we're going to open up those gates immediately when we're done. The celebration on the front straightaway with whoever is our champions. So I encourage everybody. The weather looks fantastic right now. I know they're calling for a chance of rain. I don't care about that.
It's a plastic table, Jeff. I'm just letting you know.
I know. It's not wood. All right, there. But you know what? Make plans. Be here Saturday night. I know there's football games on. They'll be on the TVs behind us. One more time, we're going to do this, guys, and then we'll wrap it up.
Absolutely.
Thanks for letting me be here.
Oh, thanks for bringing us on. Thanks for letting us do this. This has been obviously a fun, and you mentioned champions. We're going to talk to a guy that's trying to go after 2 championships here at Berlin on Saturday night. Josh Frye is next on Trackside Live. And welcome back, folks, to Trackside Live, the 2025 season finale. Tyler Kuehl, Nate Dreyer, and the guy we just mentioned, Jeff Striegle mentioned him as well, the guy that's trying to go after something that has never been done in the 75 years here at Berlin Raceway, Josh Frye. The 97 limited late models, the model coverall limited late models, and the 44 in the Baker Auto Group Sportsman's trying to win both those championships. Josh, how you doing?
Very good. How are you guys?
Good.
We're doing pretty good. Let's kind of just first off, before we get to this Saturday, let's kind of take a look back here.
Okay.
You have driven that 44 car a lot. You're the winningest driver in the history of Sportsman Series at Berlin Raceway, feature-wise. Why this year? Because obviously you won modifieds driving the 97. You've won a championship in 2021, the limited late models. Why was it this year that you decided, I'm going to do both full-time? Because you used to never run the 44 all the time.
Yeah, I would say it was more of an accident. The schedule wasn't heavy on limiteds and sportsmen running on the same night. So we always start the year, you got to get 4 tires opening night. And then this year it kind of opened up where it was one then the other for a little stretch. We had some troubles with the 44. I do not do as much testing as I used to, let's say 2017 through 2019, because the limited has become a main priority. Familiarity with the sportsman when it was on Hoosier tires, it just was never a priority to me. It was very good when we brought it out to play with it. I have the perfect amount of pit crew on a regular Saturday night. 2 cars is a lot. So we kind of started the year with absolutely zero aspirations of doing it. We brought it on a night that I probably shouldn't have brought it. We did pretty well. I forget how a night, maybe in late May, early June, I actually had troubles. We brought both cars. The Sportsman went through tech and didn't fire. So we actually missed qualifying, and I was done. I set it aside. Championship, we weren't worried about it anyways. Tonight we're going to skip it. My father made a phone call to my father-in-law, said, hey, go back, get the backup distributor, pull it out of the garage, we'll put it in. So he went back to the shop, got it. My dad at that point finally realized, hey, this is a distraction. I said, no, you can't make Kevin leave his seat, run back to the shop, unload, go through all this misery, and not put it in. So we're going to put it in. Came out, started last, kind of made it through the field, got crashed leading. Out of spite at that point, I was going to race. We drove back up with a totally destroyed race car all the way up to a top 5, and it was kind of...
Was that the night you didn't have the hood on the car?
Yeah, we didn't have fenders, front bumper. No, I mean, I literally had nothing to protect it from just being 2 front tires and an engine, but it was still very good, still very fast. We passed a lot of cars. The points were starting to get to where we were enough of it to where you almost had to try and see where it went, because we got about a 2-month break where it was A or B. A or B, it wasn't at the same time. I thought, well, let's run it until the next time we do it and see where we're at. And at that point, we were leading both. So, like I said, honestly, even up until, I would say, July at some point, still zero. As a team, I normally go through them on decisions like that. But I was fully committed to the limiteds and then part-time for that. And before you know it, we were leading points in both. And I hate to walk away from a points lead and hand it to the next guy, because we earned that points lead. Until it slips away or we crash or there's a reason that we have to give up, you got to keep pushing forward. And then I haven't regretted it until the last 3 weekends, double duty, Friday, Saturday. There's been a lot of racing recently, and it has been a lot of work for the team more so than for the driver.
I guess as Tyler mentioned, when you hear that, 75 years of history at this racetrack, think of all of the names, all of the champions that have come before you. No one in the history of this racetrack has won both championships. I know you've probably got your head down. You just want to get through Saturday night before you talk about it. But, tell us, what are the thoughts when you hear that you have a chance to do something that no one in 75 years has done in a season here?
It's awesome, because I'm here to win. Tim has proven in the last 5 or 6 years, winning here and leaving your name in the history books is amazing. And Tim has been a man on a mission. He has won a lot of races in the last 5 years and really has separated himself from some of the all-time greats. And you don't get a chance to make history at Berlin Raceway very much. So for me, I think a lot of guys either were limited on resources, teams, money, time, aspirations, and they focused on a car, which is the right way to do it. I know that sitting in this chair right now with what's in front of me on Saturday, but it's also a chance to do something no one else has done, and we're pretty close to that deal, so let's try our best to get to that mark. But if it doesn't happen in one or either, like last year, life goes on. I've got a kid and a family, and I can live with it if I drop the ball like I did last year. But hopefully we at least finish the job with one of these two before the season's over.
Yeah, 2021 was that last championship. Be two-time champion, and I forgot to mention off top, buried the lead. 4th all-time winningest driver at Berlin Raceway, Josh Frye, sitting next to us here. Let's kind of talk about last year, because I was going to bring it up eventually. You had the lead. I don't remember the exact gap. I don't know how close
22 points. Billy and I both know it.
He knows it.
So it's a little bit it's a tighter battle than it is this year with you and Nick DeLongpre.
Yeah.
But what do you remember most about that night in terms of, obviously we're really happy for Billy. I know you were as well. As a
Absolutely.
good friend, a guy that, deserved a championship for sure.
Deserved it.
But what was it about that race that you still remember, and that still maybe does anything of that get under your skin still?
I made a mistake in the shop. I overlooked a part on the race car that when I put it together, it was a complicated year. We kind of built the car in the off season, but it was actually being built during the season. I didn't bring it out till June. I bolted something on the car, didn't double check it, ran it. It was running well. I thought I had done a ton of maintenance throughout the year, but that one part I never went back and put a hand on. Came to championship night. That part, it did what it would do if you don't tighten it enough. And it was just one of those things that when I took the green flag, I knew something was wrong, but I knew it couldn't be fixed. So coming down pit road taking a swing at it, it was a mechanical issue. It was over. So we ran the 50 laps knowing it was gone. Finished the night, didn't realize how close it was. Billy drives up, wins the race, deserves to win the championship. I simply let it go. I mean, I just made a boneheaded move and realized then, especially with 2 cars, there's more maintenance than you realize, and there's more parts of a race car than you ever care to admit to. And if you forget one stinking part, it can bite you.
One of the things with running 2 cars, and in particular the 2 divisions that you run, that I find really interesting is very different style of cars to drive. Sportsmen's are sliding all around in very aero-dependent, limited late models. How tricky is it as a driver to adapt your driving style multiple times throughout the night to swap between those 2 cars and what they need, and if one's having one handling difficulty in the other?
I guess muscle memory puts the 44 since 2017 was my first season, and I ran a full season in 17 in that car and never again. So I started with a lot of races and a lot of muscle memory in it. With the limited, now it's in what are 4.5 year. The 2020 season was kind of a half year, but 4.5 years in that car, I can go back and forth pretty well mentally. It frustrates me because I'm a very cerebral driver. I like to plan things out in the car. I like to see the lineup and walk myself through what to expect. The hardest part is the frequency in which you're back and forth between the 2. The very little input I can give the team. I don't expect them to work super hard because I'm the one that's distracted more than them, and they come to watch the race. Like, these guys are in the pits. They give me every Saturday night, especially when you're running 2 cars. There ain't an off weekend. They want to see some racing too. They do not come to the racetrack to just constantly work on race cars. So it sacrifices more on the mental side of it and the changes as the nights goes on, because I don't get to focus on a car and stay on it all night long, especially on double features, both cars. So it's just one of those things that I don't think I would ever be dumb enough to try again. Even if we started into June and we were leading both, we're going to pick the car that we've determined as our championship car, and the other car we're going to back down on so that you can enjoy your summer and other things that are going. Because the funniest story of this deal is I finished an Outlaw late model. I want to bring it championship night. I won't bring it. I want to race it. These guys are amazing race car drivers. I got to test it once. I mean, Evan helped me build it. It was good on a practice day. Excited to try and get behind the wheel in a race atmosphere. It's not the right time. So we're going to park that. Bringing 3 cars is even dumber than bringing 2. But for a moment in my head, I can jump back and forth between the cars. We still have the same amount of crew if I bring 10 cars or 1 car. So let's be realistic here. 1 car we can do great. 2 cars we can do fairly well. Anything else is just ridiculous. So we're going to just focus on 2 championship night.
You mentioned Evan Shotko there, the guy that just won the Battle of the Pros this past weekend. I want to go back to the team because I remember we talked to you. It was like I think it was after our first show trying this out back in June. We ran into you because you were out here helping out Shotko, and we ran into you in your truck, and we told you, like, hey, this was the first time we both realized, like, hey, Josh is trying to do something here. And we looked through our records. I'm like, I think he might be the first, or if not the second. Like you're trying to do something and you're like, I think was that the first time it kind of clicked in your head? It was like, oh my gosh, this might be a thing.
Kind of like people have alluded to before, like 2000, there was 2 divisions for a lot of seasons.
Yeah.
And you knew that they were late model drivers or sportsman drivers and didn't have both cars. So I didn't even realize that no one had even attempted. I mean, Dave Lake had run many doubles. Even this year, we have 4 of us between Root, Davis, DeVos, and myself. Jump back and forth between the 2. But to commit to 2 all year, when you said it, you're like, well, what would you do? And I'm thinking in my mind, okay.
Because that was right before you wanted to pull out the Outlaw for the July 5th show, I remember.
You're darn tootin'. Yeah. I had that thing ready to go, and we had some troubles, and I kind of set it aside. And then it went, okay, that distraction went away. Now they're just left with 2. There's 5 nights. Can we do it? And I had to talk with the team, and they were all for it. And at the time, I knew their commitment. I also knew the weather was coming up, and I know it's easy to say in June, let's do it. And then you hit the dog days of summer, and we practice on 90-degree days, and it is a long time to get to September 13th.
And you mentioned those dog days of summer. That's at the same time that those championship leads that you had started to close a bit throughout August. So take us through, what was going on for you in terms of what the mindset became, points racing versus winning, and trying to hang on as the days were 95 degrees and whatever some of those August days.
Yeah, because as life is real behind the scenes, people realize you work, you have family stuff and commitments to go through. So you're not always coming into race day with that's my job. I trained for it. I was ready for it. It's at the end of a long week. It's. I love it when we travel with Evan to go around places. Now I say, have a great vacation. That's wonderful. I appreciate that you're wishing me well. We're going there to work. We're going there to bust our tails. So on the weekends that we race, it's not a recovery. It's a drain. And the year does take you that way. So we have always tried to take it one day at a time. But you're right. We noticed midsummer we had to change something. I just wasn't good enough in either car. Evan's always at the shop. He comes and tests every week. If you knew the super late model talent that was here, and people could see it behind the scenes Monday through Saturday, it's incredible. So Evan does a lot of work behind the scenes. We work well together. We've been friends for 15 years since he was a very young boy, before he even started racing. His grandfather built my engines. It's cyclical. We've been in the same circles for a long time. We just didn't realize how close we were until racing pulled us together. And he did a lot of R&D, and he shares a lot with me, and I try and share what little bit I could possibly know back with him. And I've leaned on him like a crutch this entire season, more so about that time. It was 12 points it got down to in the limited late models. The sportsmen have been, it's been tight all year long. Ryan and I both were going back and forth trying to pick tires last week. We both kind of got a bad tire. We both kind of had terrible nights, and it gave me just enough gap to where I can almost exhale just for a minute to be able to come here and race, because I don't want to run a race to finish 10th so that I can save a championship. I want to win the darn race. Ryan wants to win the darn race. That's what we're coming to do. So, that lead was very, very small at many times. It's grown, it's shrunk, it's changed. Tim Green put a lot of pressure on me, switched to the long prey. I don't even know where we sit in the points a lot of times. I'm reminded constantly of it. It's get your car ready in the shop on a test day, bring it here ready to win, and hopefully you can get lucky on Friday and Saturday night. I could say that now because we've done it twice, but Saturday night you better have your stuff together so you can come here and try and be competitive and then race everybody in the division. Not just – that's the weird thing about racing. You don't just race one other team. You race them all. The track is not open to just Ryan and I or Nick and I or whoever, last year Billy and I. There's a bunch of other guys trying to kick our butts. They don't care about us. They're always racing respectfully if there is a championship in the back of your mind. But when you strap on this, they're trying to win the race, and I respect them for it. So all we ask is just to keep in mind the two of us have something else on stake. But if we don't win the race, I hope we bring a car home in one piece. And that's what's been great about both divisions this year. We've really played well as a group. There's been last weekend, I would say Saturday was the flukiest event ever. There's some tires floating around the barn that did some stuff to some cars, and it was just crazy. I went from feeling good to feeling terrible to feeling confused to being gaining some points. I'm like,
you weren't the only driver apparently that was having that problem. Let's kind of go into that. Right now the gap between you and Ryan the Sportsman, even though you guys were so close in finishing, the amount of points because they were the long features, it kind of opened up that gap. The long prey had a couple of good runs both Friday, especially Friday.
Yep.
Which one are you more nervous about going into this Saturday?
Well, it's funny because the limited I feel better about the car, so I feel more confident about what's going to happen Saturday with the car. But the Sportsman, man, I've been struggling. I've called Evan 3, 4, 5 times nervously. He talks me off the ledge. It ain't that bad, but just missing something. I was able to get to the front, and 3 cars way better than me. 2 more that got wrecked out. If DeVos and Baker finish, I'm a 6th-place car at best. And luck fell that we finished 4th. Man, the car wasn't that good. So I'm more nervous about my performance in the 44 than I am the point battle in either. The limited has just been a great car. It's just sometimes I lack a little bit of willing to try something, keep up with the racetrack. It's comfortable. It's good. Leave it alone. Boy, here, guys are trying stuff every week, and they jump out of nowhere, and they kick your butt for like 3-4 weeks before you give in and go, yeah, we probably better try and get a little better to keep up with the momentum this guy's building to try and get back in the points.
You particularly mentioned the 44. The Sportsman division we've talked about on the broadcast this year. How many championships are all there, and so many guys, like you said, have a car that are resourceful. How difficult is it week in, week out to have the car in the window to be able to compete there?
Harder than you can imagine. Brian Tillema, I knew he could drive a race car. He had some struggles, and he wasn't having a lot of fun. He built a Sportsman. He came out here. Tom Thomas, Tim DeVos, stopped me anywhere through the field. I mean, even the young kids. Braden Cook's been coming out here and running better. It's just not an off night. You don't understand the competition. I had people a few years ago, oh, you cherry pick when you drop down to the Sportsman. Build one and come out here and tell me where you're cherry picking.
Brian Tillema, look at Tillema.
It's not easy. And some of these guys are proven winners and champions. Tom Thomas parks next to me, and I love Tom. We're very respectful to each other, and we've gotten a little more friendly as he's gotten faster and started kicking my butt. He's softened up a little bit because he's been very quiet. He's been very humble lately. It's a humbling division, and he said, man, my car feels pretty good. These guys are just really fast, and I don't know what I'm missing. I feel like that on a week-in, week-out basis, and I've been running the car forever. Tom took a break and came back. Tillema, DeVos, these guys took a break, and they jumped back in, and it's tough. It's just so competitive in both the divisions that I run. It's amazing to even have the opportunity going into Saturday to be here. But I can't even worry about the points because I got to try and not be in anybody's way because last week, Friday was pretty good. Saturday was not so great. We got to get better just to even have a chance to compete in the races, let alone in the championship.
Your career as a whole, we mentioned the championships, the wins. Obviously, you're trying to go after history. What has it been like for you, just this whole experience, getting to work with racing awareness, and that's carried over in the limited late model scene, the Sportsman's, running when we had dirt cars here, you ran those as well. What's it just been like getting a chance to race here? Because Jeff was very candid about what it means for not just local guys, but guys from all around that come here to win. You're here every week. What is this, the last, what you said, 2017, the last 8 years, been for you here at Berlin?
Humbling. Whenever I think I got it figured out, boy, it takes one trip home and one trip back again a week later. I can never be confident in what I'm going to do. I can feel great about what we as a team have done. But, man, you don't spend more than a few hours on the win, and you better get your tires in line for next week. You better get your car ready. You better get your what did I miss that I need to remember during the week to fix right away because this place is tough. You talk to the people who don't even want to come here when they have the opportunity because it is so difficult to come here with the we don't have the Pennsylvania posse like they do in the sprint cars.
Yeah.
But the Berlin posse, no matter what division, what car, what caliber driver, they're tough. You just don't come here and do well without luck, opportunity, hard work, knowledge, friends, sponsors, teams. And it's just got to all line up to even be competitive here.
One note, when you have a humorous note here off the side of our broadcast, I do want to say you have become a bit of an innovator because you were one of the first in Victory Lane. You always give some of our best Victory Lane interviews, but you were one of the first to have a sponsor note card with you,
Laminated,
laminated, and now there's several others that have all picked that up. So if nothing else, just want to let you know you're an innovator on that.
I have a car owner, 2 car owners. One of them is very particular that he likes to be able to say thank you to all the people that help. When you get out of that car and you have worked your butt off, sometimes double duty, double features, crazy nights, dude, you blank. You ask me a question, and I'm trying to answer the question, but at the same time, I'm trying to divulge maybe after the first feature. What happened? How can I fix my car? But at the same time, answer your question. And you forget the people that got you here, that helped you. I mean, Scott from MCU Body Shop, when I wrecked a Limited, he opened the shop, helped me put it back together. You have no idea how important that is. But if you only remember Scott and you don't remember the other 15 people on the car, what a shot in the shorts to all the people that truly did help you get here because you forgot, HD5, who, has lettered a car that I've been in since my dirt days in like 2010. So these people have stuck with me for engine stuff. And when you forget them, it's the worst. I forgot my wife so many times. You cannot go down pit road and not tell me that everyone is aware Courtney Baker and Jody Shotko on Evan's team and my mother and my wife, those 2 women on those 2 teams are so vital. And, man, you forget to thank them. You feel so terrible inside and the way people react to it, like you don't appreciate them. Dude, I just blanked. I messed up. So that little cheat card that you put in front of me, I can do it relatively quickly because you hate to go around the car and look around like you forgot. I didn't forget.
And then I'm chasing you with the mic around.
Yes. Yeah. And it's awkward because now I'm bumping into you trying to read what that
hitting
said.
Our camera people and all that.
And you're in 2 different cars, so maybe your mind you're focused on the wrong car at the time you're trying to say it. So there's just too many important people that I don't want to forget and things that happen. I mean, I've had Norm in the racing awareness modified tell me driving up to tech to remind me to say something. I totally blanked it. So as a driver, I should be fired 1,000 times over again. So that little card that Norm makes is a lifesaver because it does try and help me get out the names that are important to thank that got us to victory lane.
I mean, George Keane used to give you snot, too, for the Advantage Fleet stuff. I remember that vividly. We'd be in the booth, and I'd interview you, and Josh would, like I said, give the best answers, everything about the race, the car, how it ran. And all the first thing I hear, I'm like, and Josh Frye wins. And George was like, he forgot. On the air, would say, I forgot Advantage Fleet again. We'll give you this chance, Josh. There's no cheat sheet in front of you. Who should you thank for not just today, but this entire incredible season that you've had?
Well, first it comes down to Kevin Smoose is my father-in-law. He came on board like 5-6 years ago. He's in the shop like 6 days a week, more hours than I am. It starts with preparation in the shop. We all know that. It goes through my wife. Both my parents, I don't know if they've ever missed a practice day, let alone a race. The crew, when you talk to Steve Prins and Don Janos on race day, but it goes so much deeper when it comes to car owners, Norm and Jeff, with racing awareness into kind of what we turned the 97 into today. Sponsors, to list them all wouldn't be fair because the one I forget isn't there. But it's in the engine department with, I've had Bonafide Customs, CD's Engine, Rev Tech, Baker Engineering. You can go through these cars. I have gained knowledge and sponsorship throughout the entire season or my entire career, dating back to 09 on dirt or 17 here. You need to pull up a picture of the race car of any of these years, and there's so many people that stay constant, and there's so many people behind the scenes that I don't even get a chance to thank. So I can't do them justice because off the top of my head, I could name 15 of them, and there's at least 100 people and sponsors that do it. And that's true of all these teams. When we try and do it in Victory Lane and we try and label them, there's as many that we forgot or didn't want to be in the forefront to thank. I mean, Berger Chevrolet stepped up when we lost an engine immensely to keep the 97 on the racetrack. Driftwood Bar and Grill came on board when I was out of money. Todd, who his father sponsored my car when I was on dirt, came up and said, how can I help you? These guys that you don't even expect to step up help you immensely to keep going for all these teams. And that's why when I always say if you get the opportunity to support any of our sponsors, Lewandowski sponsors Shotco, I go there and try and buy as much as I can just to have them know that the sponsorship at Berlin Raceway gets you back what you're putting into us for the fans to get the show on. We're trying to support the sponsors of all the teams. Blue Lantern sponsored, $150 for QuickTime. Wenger's Bowl, $500. I've had conversations with both of them and said, thank you. Like, that's awesome. Like, that $500 might be the difference between a month's of my child skimping on a few things so that we could put tires and stuff back together, or he eats like a king and we got new tires on the race car and we're going fast. So all the sponsors that you see if you pull up a photo of either one of my race cars or any of the competitors out here are just as vital. The signs around the racetrack, I mean, Jeff's done a great job. I walked around today when I got here, and all the people that helped the racetrack to put up the purses, to put up the bands, the entertainments, the weekends, the festivities, the dollar values and the features to make the cars come out and race, to make the fans excited. There's so many sponsors, not just on my car, that need to be thanked. Do a little research and look up your favorite driver and make sure you try their best to go out and support the sponsors that support them, that support the drivers, that put on a show for the fans.
That's great. I think that's a great way to end it as
I
well.
I don't know how much more we could say, but Josh, you have had an incredible season. I've been fortunate enough now to know you. I joke with Nate when he first started here, and I'm like, Josh, you just hope Josh Frye wins, just because it's the easiest interview you'll have all night. I used to talk to you twice in a night, it seemed like, back in the day. Maybe on Saturday night when you're trying to chase after history, trying to become the first ever double-season track champion at Berlin Raceway, trying to go after the Sportsman and the Limited Late Model Championship. Josh, thanks for popping on the show tonight, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
We will be back, folks, to wrap things up here. Wrap up the final edition of Trackside Live next here on Facebook Live. Welcome back, folks, to Trackside Live here at Berlin Raceway here on this Wednesday night. Todd Kuhl alongside Nate Dreyer, getting ready for championship night. We've talked with Josh Frye. He's going after 2 championships. Justin Roloffs, the championship is in the bag. Chase Roloffs, his brother, finishes second. Unfortunately, I know they didn't quite make it there for the Division 4 National Championship, the NASCAR Weekly Championship. They were right there towards the end. Unfortunately, I think that week off that we all took kind of hurt them because a lot of drivers ended up racing a lot more. That kind of widened the gap a little bit. It's still a great season for the Roloffs brothers. And like we said, we also have Austin Hall trying to take to the track to clinch that first Tecton Super Late Model Championship. It would be his 3rd championship, 2 sportsmen he has in his career. Speaking of Josh Frye, we could have asked him about it. Of course, we asked Austin about that battle the last time we was on the show. What are you looking at here, Nate? I mean, obviously the focus is on the guy that's just off camera here, Josh Frye. What is championship night for you going to mean with how much we have going into it with this guy trying to go after some history?
Yeah, I think the history being chased is the #1 story to look at. But the other thing that's been interesting about this year, and you can include the reveal of the Hammer Outlaws in this, is it's been a year of dominance at Berlin. We've seen a lot of cool stories and cool winners throughout the year, but it's been a year of dominance. It's been Austin Hall. It's been the Roloffs. You know, it's been
Tyler Rohrig
in the reveal of the Hammer. I think that is what we're looking for. How did those guys end their season, or does someone sneak in there, get some momentum? I mean, look at Evan Shotko. It's been a down year for that 22 car. They would be the first to tell you that. You know, he mentioned it in Victory Lane. But that win last week, picking up $12,000 with it, going back to the original Shotko chassis as well to do it, that's a big momentum boost for him. There's a lot of other guys I talked to that are really confident where their race car's at. This is important for a lot of guys to finish that year incredibly strong and have that, boost into the offseason. Think about Austin Hall, and he talks all about how much work went in the offseason, some of the things they found in the offseason. If you can end the year with a win, you can end the year with some momentum heading into that all-important offseason and then be able to roll off next year. That's huge.
Yeah, I was about to say, having maybe the roll-offs go 1 and 2 just the opposite way. That would be certainly interesting for next year, too. The 4-cylinder is always fun to watch. And like we said, there were a couple comments I forgot to mention here. Let's see. We love you, Jeff. Casey, Drain, Rollwell. Sorry, the laptop's away from me, and I'm going blind. I'm getting old. Jimmy Woltansky said, let's go 45 limited on Saturday. That's Benny and Van Wynen, who's had some very good improvements this year. Dave Ryan, the Canadian, says, please bring the ISMA MSS Super Modifieds back. Dave, you missed the show. Top of the show, Jeff actually laid out a lot of the schedule. He says that the Super Modifieds will be back next season. We don't know when yet, when we'll have the 5th Annual Great Lakes Classic, but you expect all the heavy hitters to be there for that, the McVettas, the Ordways, so many great drivers that come from that series, coming from the Northeast, and some of the Midwest, too, for that big race. Maybe we'll throw Josh Frye into that car. He's raced everything else here except for the open wheels, it seems like. That'd be interesting to see. Maybe Andrew Scheid, a guy that has done some sprint cars before.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to see as well.
He's grown a little too big to be in a sprint car.
Well,
he said he used to be like I was talking to him last week. He used to be like I'm not the biggest, if you haven't picked up on that, everyone. He used to be like smaller. He had a big growth spurt in high school, and I think that's kind of part along with his team moving that kind of moved him into.
But can't you have like just a taller roll cage? I know it might affect the car in general, but isn't there a way to have?
It make you a little bit less competitive. Yeah, I don't know. It depends on the series what you are allowed to do, but I'd imagine not.
Yeah, that's true. That's the reason. That's why Michael Waltrip Racing is an anomaly. That's why I couldn't race. Matt McKenzie, our other broadcast partner for Flow Racing, he cannot do it either because we're so dang big. And talking about Dave Lake. Dave Lake was a short individual, and the first time I tried to sit in his car when I was a kid, it was no problem. I tried doing it my freshman year of high school, did not work out so well. That's probably why I'm doing this. But, folks, we have a little surprise announcement. No, we do not know the big event that Jeff's talking about. But next Wednesday, we'll be back, Trackside Live. We'll be doing a championship edition. We fooled you. You thought that we were going to be done. I kept saying this is the season finale. Psych. I've confused them all. I've bamboozled them, Nate. We're going to do a show next week, and we're going to be talking to the champions. I
am very excited to do that. We've had likely, expecting based on what we get, we've been able to have the champions on so far, and it'll be really cool to be able to have those guys, back on it and break down this season, and hopefully they're all also maybe in a little bit of a good mood and off to a good finish to their year based on how things go. Regardless, they'll be happy if they're champions, but regardless.
It might turn into a fantasy football show halfway through, but we'll just have to wait and see. So that'll be next Wednesday. But this Saturday, folks, that's the big one. We're going to be going live on Flow Racing at 6 o'clock. The green flag will be dropping at 6:30. Chet Championship Night. The 4-cylinders, the sportsmen, the limited late models, the super late models, reveal the Hammer Outlaws, all in action, all on Championship Night, Nate.
Yeah, and as Jeff mentioned again, 3 o'clock. So the gate's opening a little bit earlier because we've got a lot crammed in there. 5:55, we're going to have an autograph session. So everyone will be down on the track. And before that, we'll have single car qualifying for both the super late models and the Outlaws from the Reveal the Hammer series. So make sure you're here early by 4:30 then for sure for the qualifying into the autograph session. And then how about this for the amount of racing? 40 lap limited late model feature, 30 lap 4-cylinder, 40 laps of the Sportsman, then the Outlaws go 60, and then the super late models go their normal 75. So if you like longer races, there's going to be a lot of fun stuff. I think it's going to be a terrific race, and everyone's going for broke. This is the last race of the year, so we could be getting some really, really cool finishes.
And we saw the lineup today for the Reveal the Hammer Outlaws. Everyone's favorite driver, Tim DeVos, will be in the field. He's got a pretty fast car, we hear, so we'll see what he can do.
And he's one of 27. They have a huge field. You mentioned, 3 14-year-olds between the super late model and the Outlaw late model, so a huge Reveal the Hammer field is expected along with everyone that you know and love here week in, week out at Berlin.
That was a funny. We'll wrap on this Friday night. That was because when I'm up in the booth with Matt, sometimes we have the crowd noise up whenever they're doing the starting laps, so we're so used to doing the lineup, so we're not really listening to anyone else. I was down on pit road on Friday night, and Tim DeVos was on the pole, and that was the first time I'd ever heard the crowd give their thoughts on one Tim DeVos. It was I couldn't help but laugh. But that's just Tim DeVos for you. He'll be in action. I don't know if he'll be doing triple duty. It'll be interesting, but he'll be there for sure in at least the Outlaws and probably the Sportsmen as well. Like I said, 6:30 green flag. We'll be live on Flow Racing. For Nate Dreyer, for Jeff Striegle, for Josh Frye, for Chip Kozel being a sort of a producer on this show, I'm Ty Kuehl saying thank you all so much for watching this edition of Trackside Live. We'll see you next week to celebrate the champions here at Berlin.